guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma for those of you who are new, and I would love it if you guys subscribed and stuck around. Today's video I am so excited about. As you can tell by the title, we are finally going to be chatting about my physical TBR, and I'm going to be sharing with you like an in-depth, detailed overview of my current bookshelf. So I can't remember when I filmed like my bookshelf reorganization video, but I've been saying for a couple months that I'm going to be filming this video, but I've kind of been putting it off. I'm just so nervous to see how long, first of all, this video is going to take to film, but also I have no clue how many books I have on my physical TBR that I haven't read. So just a couple of disclaimers before this video. My channel is a safe space for readers, a non-judgmental zone. So please do not judge me for how many books I have on my physical TBR. I already know the number is going to be outrageous, but I love reading. It's what I spend my money on. I literally spend all of my money on books and book shopping, and it's just the thing that makes me the happiest. So definitely don't judge me for that. I know I do have a lot of books and I own a lot of books, and my intention is to eventually read all of these books, but for now they just look pretty sitting on my shelves, a lot of them. But I also feel like book shopping and book reading are two very different hobbies. I know some people have agreed with me in the past when I've stated this, but I feel like it's such a different feeling going to the bookstore and shopping for the books and all that sort of thing than it is just to sit down and read them. Because I've been in a slump lately, I've opted more for going to the bookstore, and I also got a job in the bookish sort of industry this year, so I do get a very good discount on books. I get a lot of ARCs, which is really exciting. So those are kind of my silly little disclaimers. Don't ever judge someone for how many books they have but they haven't read, because we've all been there. We all love book shopping. So it's probably going to be over 100 books, but we shall see. But let's just go ahead and get into the video. So I have a couple different spaces in my apartment that I keep my books. The main one being behind me, my beautiful, beautiful bookshelves. I'll link my bookshelf organization video down below and in the cards if you haven't watched that. But my husband and my dad helped me build these when we moved into this apartment a few months ago, and they're like my dream bookshelves. I just want a whole apartment and a whole room filled with bookshelves like these. They are my dream bookshelves, and they honestly accommodate my current collection pretty well because I can display the books super pretty, but if my collection keeps growing, I can kind of change it up and not have like as many pretty face outs and things like that on them. So yeah, most of my books live and are housed on my bookshelves back here, but I also have a TBR cart which I've had for a couple years. There's honestly no rhyme or reason to my TBR cart right now, but I am going to be changing it here pretty soon for the upcoming fall and winter season. But I kind of just throw new books that I haven't hauled yet, new books that I have hauled and that I want to read, books that I maybe want to film for a reading vlog. There's really no rhyme or reason to my TBR cart, but I'll show you all the books on there as well. And then I also keep some books in my TV stand. A lot of those are like seasonal books, so Christmas books, and then I also keep a lot of like ARCs in there, or just books that I've had for a long time that I've either already read or ones that I don't know if I'm going to read anytime soon. So if I were to like unhaul books again, because I honestly do that quite frequently, I would probably go there first, because those are like ARCs or just books that I don't know if I'll ever read. So I know you guys are sick of staring at me. You want to see the books on my bookshelves and all of its glory. Let's just go ahead and get into my physical TBR. So I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I currently own that I haven't read. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and get into it. First on top, I have my little Jellycat. This was one of my first Jellycats that I bought. She is a ladybug and her name is Lady. Very creative, I know. But underneath Miss Lady, I have Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, which I have read. I have Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson, have not read. I have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood and Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, which are ones that I also haven't read. I'm not the biggest Ali Hazelwood fan, so I might be unhauling those in a future video, but we shall see. Then I have Never by Jessa Hastings and Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which I also haven't read. So on this shelf, I have a total of 5 books that I haven't read. So on this shelf, I also have another Jellycat. This is a little Granny Smith apple Jellycat, and his name is Smith. Again, very creative name for him. But I honestly don't think I've read any of the books on this shelf. So I have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I have Just One Taste by Lizzie Dent. I also have 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman and Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. And then I just have a little vase. Sometimes I'll put flowers in there, but most of the time I do not. Okay, next up, this is one of my favorite shelves on my bookshelf because I have a lot of my favorite covers and favorite authors on here. So I first have a little Spider-Man Funko Pop. This is like the Valentine's Day Funko. I did make a TikTok of this on my TikTok that has like 300 followers, and this went viral. It was like an unboxing. Sorry, it's not focusing. But yeah, this did go viral, so I'll link that TikTok down below. Follow me. But it was like the weirdest TikTok to ever go viral. So this is a very cute Funko, one of my favorites. But I have the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score up here. I really loved the first one, but didn't love the second two, but I still like Lucy Score a lot, so I keep them. I then also have By Thread by Lucy Score, which I really did enjoy. And then moving on, I have my Lauren Asher book. So I have the Dreamland Billionaire series, so Fine Print, Terms and Conditions, and Final Offer. I've read all the books up until this point, which is really good. But then I have the first 3 in the Dirty Air series, and I have them in the original covers. I thrifted these and I'm absolutely obsessed. So I actually haven't read the Dirty Air series just yet. So that's 3 that I haven't read. But then this is a duplicate I have throttled in the new covers as well. And then I have Love Redesigned and Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, which are the first 2 in the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. And then I have my little Jellycat. He is one of my newer Jellycats, and I actually haven't named him yet. So let me know what you think his name should be. He is a boy and he is the croissant. So I'm thinking Jacques because he's French, but just let me know. Up here I have Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino and Darling Them by Parker S. Huntington, which I've read both of these books. And then I also have my TBR jar up here. Then I have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, which I have read. And then these 2 books I have not. So I have How to End a Love Story by Yulin Huang, and then I have The Confidence of Wildflowers by Michaela Snotzer, I believe. So okay, I know this angle is very awkward, but I actually don't have any books to read on these shelves. So this one is just kind of like a coffee table book that I have a lamp. So I also have my TBR playing cards on that shelf with the lamp as well, which are basically just like TBR jar prompts, but in a different way. They're on playing cards. So eventually I'll film another video using these. Those just live up here. Then I have a decorative Barnes & Noble version of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and some of his other work. And then I just have a disco ball candle, which smells amazing, but I don't like, but it does reflect light. Very, very pretty in the apartment. Now we are back to my first bookshelf, so we're gonna move again on this level of the shelves, just down again. This shelf is only fantasy books, and I don't know if I've read any of the books on this shelf. So first off, I have Fourth Wing and Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Still have not read these books. I also have down here the paperback UK edition of Fourth Wing, and I'm gonna read this one this fall. So finally gonna get around to see what the hype is over this book series. Next, I have this book spined out with the sprayed edges, but I have Five Broken Blades by May Corland, and I'm so excited to read this book this fall, but I have it spined out because the sprayed edges are just beautiful. Next, I have the first in the Ember and the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. Also gonna read this one this fall. My fall TBR is coming soon, but so excited to read this, and I want to get all of them because all of the spines like match up to make like a little photograph, which is really cool. Next, I have Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which is technically romance, but it is more like paranormal romance, I believe, and has a lot of fantasy aspects, so I just keep it on this fantasy shelf. Next, I have The Serpent and the Wings of the Night by Carissa Broadbent, which I'm excited to read. I have Winsome Hatch by Sarah A. Parker. Just got this one because I heard a lot of people talk about it, and I love the cover, but this one is so thick. Again, I have the Fourth Wing paperback, and then I have Powerful by Lauren Roberts, which is a powerless little novella. Next up, I have all of my Magnolia Parks books by Jessa Hastings, including Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. So I have the Magnolia Parks books over here, so that is just Magnolia Parks, Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, and Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. I've read the first Magnolia Parks and the first Daisy Hates, but I am currently reading Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, and still need to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing and Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I also have my my Marc Jacobs perfume next to my Daisy Hates books. I just thought it was perfect there. And then I also have a Funko Pop. This is Felix from Saltburn. He is so cute. This is like one of my favorite Funko Pops ever. And I love Jacob Elordi as well, but I thought he just fit well on this shelf because he's British in that movie, but also it's kind of like high society sort of vibes, just like Magnolia Parks. Not the same situations at all, but I just thought he fit there and he looks cute there. So moving on, this shelf is amazing because this is where all of my Sarah J Maas books are housed. I also have a Jellycat on here. I don't think this little guy will live here forever. This is my Strawberry Jellycat. Still haven't named this one, so if you have any name recommendations, let me know. But I have all of the ACOTAR books here. I have A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Winds and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and 2 copies of A Court of Silver Flame. So I've read the first 2 ACOTAR books, but have not read the last 3. And then I also have a original, I think, copy of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Thrifted this, and one of my absolute favorite thrift finds ever. And then I have the entire Throne of Glass series, and yeah, we'll see if I start the series anytime soon. I feel like I need to read a little bit more fantasy before I hop into Throne of Glass. And Crescent City as well. I have the first 2 Crescent City books in the UK like paperbacks, and they're absolutely stunning. Even if I never read these books, I'm never getting rid of them because I got these at Waterstones in the UK my first time ever visiting London, and that summer and that trip was just so special to me. I have some Stephanie Garber books on this shelf. I have the Caraval series, which I've read the first book in the Caraval trilogy, but I have not read Legendary or Finale. And then kind of continuing that universe, I guess, I have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and I love the cover of this one, so I definitely want to finish this series and continue this universe this fall. And then I also have a Jellycat bouquet. Also still haven't named this little gal, but again, let me know your recommendations down below. Okay, and then this final shelf on this row, I have, of course, the Harry Styles version of Better Homes and Gardens. He is beautiful. And then I have my film camera, and then I have a couple stickers that you can't see on the top here. I also have a Sunny Angel. This Sunny Angel is from the Gifts of Love series from the Valentine's Day 2024 collection, and his name is Beau, I think, but like French spelling, like B-E-A-U-X. I have One Italian Summer and In 5 Years by Rebecca, I always forget how to pronounce her last name, but Rebecca Serle, I don't know. And then I have The Defining Decade by Meg J, and I haven't read that one just yet, but I have read these 2 books and I really enjoyed them. Okay, moving on. Again, we're back at the other side. So this shelf is kind of like sports romances. I do have a lot more sports romances, but most of those are on my TBR card. I love sports romances. They're one of my favorite kind of books to read. They are kind of getting a little stale lately just because I've read so many, but I've always loved sports romances. So a lot of these ones I actually haven't read. So I have Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer, Unsteady by Peyton Karen, Be With Me by Jennifer Armentrout. I have read Collide by Bal Cabra. Then I have Consider Me by Becca Mack, which is the first in the Playing for Keeps series by her. And then I have From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. And then I have a little dish that I thrifted that has claw clips in it, and then it has a little Sunny Angel hipper on it, which I haven't named this little guy either. So again, let me know some name recommendations for him. Moving on, this shelf is again one of my favorites because it has like YA mystery thriller and that sort of thing. So I have the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is one of my absolute favorite series of all time. So I have The Naturals, Killer Instinct, All In, and Bad Blood, all of which I have read. Then I have another series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, Little White Lies and Deadly Little Scandals, which I'm excited to read this fall. Then I have The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky. This is one of my favorite books that I read last year in 2023, and I really enjoyed it, and I don't hear anyone talk about this series, so I'm recommending it to you right now if you didn't hear me talk about it last year. But really love this one, and it's kind of like slasher vibes, which I really enjoy. This is a book that I read this year. It's called Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington, and I really enjoyed this one as well. It was a Barnes & Noble pick of the month a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed it. Then I just have my Ghostface Funko Pop. Clearly I love Funkos, but Scream is one of my favorite franchises like ever. Like I love the Scream movie franchise and I love watching them, and I watched the like MTV show that they had, like the Scream series, and I just really enjoy kind of like slasher movies like that. So I really love this Funko as well. Okay, moving on. This is one of my favorite shelves, not only for decorative purposes, but also this houses so many of my favorite authors. I have 2 copies of Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have the paperback from the UK, and then I have my signed copy right here as well that Sid got me. And then right here I have some seashells from Our Honeymoon, which I just thought was pretty fitting for just Emily Henry's kind of vibe for Happy Place, I guess. Not happy though, let's just say that right now. But anyways, I have Book Lovers, Beach Read, and another copy of Beach Read from the UK. The only one that I haven't read is Book Lovers. And then moving on, I have a couple Abby Jimenez books. So I have Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and the Happy Ever After playlist. The only one that I've read on the shelf right now is Yours Truly. I have a couple Abby Jimenez books floating around somewhere else in my apartment, I feel like, but I have only read this one on my shelf right now. And then I have Wild Love and Flawless by Elsie Silver, which is the first in the Chestnut Spring series. And then I have the rest of the Chestnut Spring series right here, which I have not read these ones, but I have read the first one. And then I have the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. I have not read this one just yet, but this is probably my favorite shelf on my bookshelf other than my Magnolia Parks one. I just love all of these authors so much. And then moving on to the last 2 shelves here. This one on the end actually doesn't have any books. This is just magazines. I am going to start using some of these magazines for like journaling purposes, which I really enjoy. And then I also have a couple Sunny Angels on here. Haven't named this guy just yet. He's a sloth, so again, let me know a name rec for him. But this one right here is also part of the Gift of Love series, and his name is Ross because he's holding a little rose. And then I have a Taylor Swift magazine, of course. I have a vase right here, which my older sister got me, and I don't use it very much, but I think it looks really cute on the shelf. But then on this shelf right here, I have the Boys of Tommen series. So I have Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6, and Taming 7. And I have not read these yet. I just have a feeling that I'm really going to love them. And I bought all of them at once because Barnes & Noble released them with the ombre spines, and I don't think they make them like that anymore. So I really wanted all of them to have the ombre spine. And then I also have my Stormcloud Jellycat. His name is Walt, and he's one of my favorite Jellycats. And I just love because he's the Stormcloud, and I feel like people have said that these books are pretty sad. So okay, next up, this shelf. I have actually read quite a few of the books on this shelf. I also have my little heart Jellycat. This is Valentino. He's very cute. But I have my Sally Rooney books right here. I have Beautiful World, Where Are You, Conversations with Friends and Normal People, all of which I have read. I have Call Me By Your Name, also one that I have read, even though I still haven't watched the movie yet, which is criminal because I love Timothée Chalamet. I then have 100 Other Girls, which I haven't read this one just yet. And then I have Three Women by Lisa Taddeo, Tell Me It Lies, which I absolutely love this. And if you haven't read this, you need to, and then you need to watch the show on Hulu and report back to me. I read this before the Hulu series came out, but I absolutely love that book, and I want to reread it this fall, honestly. I have Call It What You Want by Alyssa Derogatis, I believe is her name, and I did enjoy that book as well. And then I have My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I've read, and then I actually haven't read this one, but I have Cleopatra and Frankenstein, which I feel like would be a good one to read for the fall. So that's that shelf. I have to start crouching now because there's like no good way to show these books. Okay, right here I have books by Monica Murphy. So she wrote the Lancaster Prep series, so A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, I believe. Right here, I didn't love this book, but I do like the cover, and I liked her writing style, so I want to try and give more books in the series a shot. I have quite a few. So I have Lonely for You Only and Things I Wanted to Say, which are from the Lancaster Prep series, and then I have All My Kisses for You, which is, I think, a new novella or a spin-off of the Lancaster Prep series by her. And then on top of this stack of books, I have my little Marshmallow Jellycat guys. Again, ones that I haven't named yet, but they're so cute. Then I have Summer Fridays by Suzanne Rundell, which was honestly such a good book. I loved it so much. Then here's another Abby Jimenez book I have just for the summer, which I really enjoyed. And then all of my K.L. Walther books that I've read. So The Summer of Broken Rules, What Happens After Midnight, and Maybe Meant to Be. Next up, this shelf I am obsessed with with because it also houses two of my favorite authors, so Taylor Jenkins Reid and Elle Kennedy. I absolutely love these authors, both for different reasons, but they are amazing. So I have all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books first. So I have Carrie Soto's Back, which is one I actually haven't read just yet, and then I have One True Loves, After I Do, Maybe in Another Life, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, and Malibu Rising. So I've read all of them except for Carrie Soto is Back. And then I have all of my Elle Kennedy books, which I believe I have read all of my Elle Kennedy books except for two. So I have the Prep series, which I don't really hear many people talk about, but I have Misfit and Rogue, which are the first two. I don't know if she's gonna end up writing any more in that series. And then I have the Avalon Bay series, which is the Summer Girl, Bad Girl Reputation, and Good Girl Complex. And then I have the, I think, Campus Diary series, so the Graham Effect and the Dixon Rule, which I really enjoy that series. And then I have the Off Campus series, which is one of my favorite series by her, I feel like, and like OG hockey romances, I feel like. I have those, and then I have the Briar U series as well. So I think the only ones that I haven't read on the shelf are The Goal and The Legacy. And then on top of there, I have just a little Seaside like bike license plate that I got on my honeymoon in Seaside, Florida. I have a little dope bookmark I got with a House of Jupiter bookmark podcast order. I have my book club candle, which I honestly need to replace because it's kind of gross. And then I have my little Sunny Angels, Tommy and Louie. They're so cute. I really love the shelf. Like I mentioned earlier, this shelf and this shelf are some of my favorites because of the books and the authors, but also just the colors. I feel like they just look so good together. Okay, next up on this shelf, I have my Twilight books. I have the white editions and they are just so beautiful. I don't know why this one is ruined. They are just white and then they have like the artwork on it, and then on the back it says the names of the books. So I have all of the Twilight books. I have read all of these before, but I didn't own them up until this point. So excited to have all those. And then I just have some journaling pens to the side here. And then we're down to the last shelf on this level, and then we'll have 2 more levels to go. But I have If He Had Been With Me and If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan. I've read the first one but have not read the second one. Then I have A Little Life, which I haven't started yet and honestly scared to. And then I have My Dark Vanessa, which I also haven't read. And then The Lonely City by Olivia Lang, which I also haven't read, but I have read The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna have to just crouch on the floor now for this, but right here I have some like YA fantasies, which I don't think I've read any of these just yet. The first in the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi, I believe is her name. And then I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and then the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo, and then I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I do want to read these because I want to watch the TV show, but we'll see if I get around to that anytime soon. Okay, right here I also have a lot of YA. I think most of these are mystery thriller, so I don't know if I've read any of these on the shelf actually. So I have Gone Too Far, What You Hide, and 6 Months Later by Natalie D. Richards. Then I have The Dare by Natasha Preston, Tag, You're Dead by Catherine Foxfield, The Society for Soulless Girls by Laura Stevens, The Hate List by Jennifer Brown, Perfect Little Strangers by Cindy R.X. Hay. I have The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. I have The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas, which I do want to read because I believe like the one about the football team just came out called The Champions. Then I have All Your Twisted Lies by Ryan Urban, Fear Street True Evil by R.L. Stein, and then Tiny Pretty Things by, I don't know the author on this one, but that's like my YA or one of my YA mystery thriller shelves. Next shelf I have down here is my Harry Potter shelf. I have all of the Harry Potter books and I've actually read all of these, just not any time recently, so I do definitely want to reread these. I have the box that they came in, and then my Gryffindor candle. I have a Spider-Man Homecoming like vinyl, and then Funko Pop over there. So next up I have like a little YA romance shelf, I guess. So I have Begin Again by Emma Lord. I think this is, yep, they all fell over. The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, which I love the sprayed edges on that one. And then I have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I have My Fault and Your Fault by Mercedes Ron. I have Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. My Life with the Walter Boys by Allie Novak, and then The Paris Connection by Lorraine Brown. I haven't read any of these books, so hopefully I'll get around to those soon. I have Mystery Thriller, YA, Dark Academia. I actually don't think I've read any of these books, but I have The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll, An Anonymous Girl, which I don't even know who wrote this. I have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have The Silent Patient and The Maidens, and then I have Too Good to Be True by Carola Levering. I have 2 Natasha Preston books, The Lake and the Twin. I have A Local Woman Missing, and then The Secret History by Donna Tartt. So this shelf is kind of like a hodgepodge of things, but maybe eventually I'll read those books. We are finally down to the last, but certainly not least, row of books on my bookshelf. I have It by Stephen King, which I have read, just not in a really long time. I was probably too young to be reading such a book, but I have read it before. I am so out of breath, it's not even funny. I have The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake and One for My Enemy, which are both books that I have not read. And then I think the rest of these I also haven't read. So I have Renegades by Marissa Meyer, Crave by Tracy Wolff, Kingdom of the Wicked by Karen Maniscalco, Delirium by Lauren Oliver, and then When Stars Come Out by Scarlett St. Clair. Okay, next up this shelf is also a little weird. So I have You Again by Kate Goldbeck and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, both books that I have not read. Then I have Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, which I also haven't read, but I definitely want to read this one soon because a girl that I work with absolutely loves this book. Then I have Love Struck by Laura Jane Williams, which I honestly don't know if I ever want to read this book, if I'm being honest. I just bought it in the UK because I really enjoyed the cover and I just feel like I can't get rid of it because I got it in London, but we shall see. And then I have The Summer I Turned Pretty and It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han, which I have read those two books. Then I have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, which I have also read. Love and Gelato by, I don't remember her name, Jennifer Welch maybe? No, Jenna Evans Welch. Haven't read this one yet. Probably gonna save this one for next summer or maybe even unhaul that one. And then I have Mary Jane, which I also haven't read. So next up down here is also one of my favorite bookshelves ever because it houses all of my Pretty Little Liars books, and I don't even know if they make some of these original covers anymore. I've actually thrifted most of these, which is pretty interesting, and I've been collecting these books since I was like 14 or 15 years old. This shelf is very nostalgic for me. I believe I have read all of these books. I honestly don't remember, but I am planning on starting to reread them sometime in the next few months to a year. So okay, so I have my last two bookshelves here. So right here I have some YA like mystery thriller. So I have Family of Liars and We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, which I believe I've read both of these books. Then I have Four Found Dead by Natalie D. Richards, which I have also read. And then I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which I haven't read the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series yet, but I definitely want to. And then I have Panic by Lauren Oliver, which is one I read a long time ago when I was in middle school, but I really do want to reread this one because I really liked the Amazon show that they came out with. Okay, last shelf on my bookshelf. I believe these are all kind of like YA, dystopian or science fiction or like fantasy type of books, but I have The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trials, and The Death Cure by James Dashner, which are all in the Maze Runner series. And then I have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, Bones and All. And then I also have this book that I saw at Half Price Books and really wanted to read, and it's called The 1000th Floor by Catherine McGee. Okay, so I actually have so many books on my TBR cart that I own but haven't read, so we're just gonna run through these just really fast. I have Daydream by Hannah Grace, but I am currently reading this one, so I'm not gonna count that one towards my final count. This one should be in a reading vlog hopefully soon. And then I have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore, which I'm so excited to read this fall. Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver and Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I have Funny Story by Emily Henry, Night Shift by Annie Crown, and Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. All ones I haven't read. And then I have The Arc of Everything We Never Said by Sloane Harlow. Also haven't read that one. I have Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. Also haven't read that one, but we will read that one this fall. And then I have read this one actually, but I'm planning on unhauling this. This is The Idea of You. Next, I have Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Simcotti and Diving In by Bianca Miller. I believe she is a local Kansas City author, which is really cool. Next, I have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, which I also haven't read. We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. Also haven't read. I have read Divergent by Veronica Roth. I was rereading this one actually for my friends and I's book club, but I didn't finish it. And then I have Girl Broad by Elle Kennedy, which I also haven't started yet. And then also on my TBR cart, I have Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington. I have Flock by Kate Stewart. I have Cross the Line by Simone Sultani and Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. All of these I haven't read, by the way. Catch the Sun by Jennifer Hartman, A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver, a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I'm trying that matches my shirt, which is really cute. I have The First in the Zodiac Academy by Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I have The Murder She Sold by Ray Riley. She is also a local Kansas City author, I believe, which is really cool. I have Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I have The X-Files by Jessica Joyce, and then I have The Last Girl Standing by Jennifer Dugan. So that is all on the first shelf of my TBR cart. I'm gonna put all of these books back now. And then I have a little sunny angel named Paddington. Sid named him, and he lives here, but he falls off a lot. So I'm just gonna put Paddington here because he just keeps falling and he doesn't deserve that. Okay, I guess I'll start on the bottom row because there's only a few books. So I have This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune and Seven Summers by Paige Toon. Next, I have Kingmakers by Sophie Lark, which I recently hauled, and this one is definitely on my fall and winter TBR. So then I have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. And then I also recently hauled this one as well, Fall With Me by Becca Mack, another book in the Playing for Keeps series. Okay, last up of the books on my TBR cart. Let's rapid fire through these. So I have Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which is in the Addicted to You series. The Start of Me and You by Emery Lord. And then I have The Do-Over by Suzanne Parks. I have Reckless by Lauren Roberts, which I'm so excited to read. I definitely want to film a like fantasy reading vlog either this fall or this winter, and I think I want to read The Powerless series because I just hear so many people talk about it and I haven't read it yet, and I really hope I enjoy it. And next up I have This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino. Next up I have a couple books by Sophie Lark. I believe these are in the Brutal Birthright series, but I have Brutal Prince and Stolen Heir. I have Just Last Night by Mary McFarlane, Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow, and then I have We All Looked Up by Tommy Bullock, I believe. Then I have Beautiful Villain by Rebecca Kenny. One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. Talking at Night by Claire Deverly. None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. The Ones Who Got Away by Roni Loren. Lying in the Deep by Diana Urban. Summer Pact by Emily Giffen, which is one that I really wanted to read this summer, but I think I'm gonna savor this one next summer for sure. I have The Long Way Home and Hot House Flower, which are also in the Addicted series by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Then I have like a kind of like OG cover of Throne of Glass, I believe, or like a UK cover. A Fear Street little 2 books in 1 from R.L. Stine, and then I have Five Survive by Holly Jackson. So my camera battery is flashing, so I gotta change it before I show you the TV stand, but that is all the books on my TBR cart. It definitely needs to be revamped. I haven't updated my TBR cart in a hot minute. There are a lot of books on here, which I honestly kind of forgot about because they all just kind of blend together, but back there I have Matt Haig's The Midnight Library. I have read that book. I have This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub, which I have not read. 8 White Nights by Andra Ackerman, which I haven't read. And then I have Distrust by G.N. Wright, which is like a dark romance that I got at Half Price Books that just doesn't have very good reviews. And I have Hooked by Molly McIntyre. Scrap, which is an ARC that I received, and I honestly couldn't tell you what this is about, but. And then I have The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. Again, another ARC. And then I have a couple more ARCs right here. I have This Book Kills and Silent Sister. And then I have Emergency Contact, which I also haven't read. I have Can't Look Away by Carol Levering, also haven't read. I received Love Interest by Claire Gilmore as an early release copy from St. Martin's Publishing, which was really nice. And then I have read these books. This is The Mysterious Benedict Society and The Mysterious Benedict Society and the Perilous Journey. This was one of my favorite book series when I was younger, like in like elementary school and middle school, and I think he's still releasing new books, which is exciting. Memoirs of an Ex-Prom Queen and The Lies That Bind by Emily Giffen. Then I have Last Night at the Telegraph Club, which I haven't read. And then I have read Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. And then I've also read The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This is an ARC, which I believe is out now, but it is The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave, and I haven't read that one either. I have Savor It by Tara DeWitt. I also received this as an early copy and haven't read that one yet either. And then I received Husbands and Lovers by Beatrice Williams as an ARC as well. And then these 2 books I have read. I have Alice in Wonderland and then 13 Reasons Why. So now I just have a couple stacks to show you that were in the front. So I have an ARC called The Days I Loved You Most by Amy Neff. This book is out now as well, but it's apparently super duper sad, but I have not read this one just yet. Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6, which I haven't read that one just yet. And then I have read this one. I feel like I'm gonna pull this one out because I want it on my shelf, but that is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. That used to be one of my favorite books books, and I do want to reread that one. I've had this one for a while, so I might end up unhauling it. The Merciless by Danielle Vega. I believe it's just a YA horror book. And then this book I got is an ARC. This is Filthy Rich Fae by Geneva Lee. I have The Vampire Diaries by LJ Smith. This is Matt Haig's newest book. I did receive this as an ARC, but I believe it's out now, but that is The Life Impossible. I have One Day in December by Josie Silver. I keep that in here just because it is seasonal. I have The Girl on the Train and City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. I have a couple other Christmas books that I haven't read. I have Love Light Farms and then The Christmas Orphans Club. And then I think these are the last of my Christmas books. I have One Last Gift by Emily Stone and A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. And then all the other books I have are ARCs except for this one. So I have Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I already have this book, already read it. It's already on my shelf, but this is the Target version and I'm just gonna end up getting rid of this one because I have the Barnes & Noble version instead. And then the rest of the books I have are ARCs. So I have Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors, Evenings and Weekends by Oisin McKenna. And then I have The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. The Stars Are Dying by Chloe Piñaranda, and then The Blue Hour by Paula Hawkins. That's all my books. Okay guys, that is all the books that I have on my bookshelf, my TBR cart, and shoved away in my TV stand. So now that I've shared all that with you, we're going to get into the grand total of all the books on my physical TBR. So all the books I own but haven't read. So pause the video here and comment down below how many you think it's gonna be. So I have 223 books on my physical TBR. I own 223 books that I haven't read, which is absolutely insane. Let me know how many books are on your physical TBR and how many books you guys own that you haven't read. I want to see if any of us are in the same boat. Again, I made my disclaimers earlier. I'm not going to get into them again, but please don't judge me for how many books I own that I haven't read. I'm just a girl who loves reading, but also loves book shopping. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and follow me on all of my other socials. I'm so glad that I finally filmed this video, and now my goal is to shrink down this physical TBR and read a lot of books. So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.